Hi, it's Catherine. I am live on YouTube getting ready to make my simple keto pork chops. I have my breading right here, and I've got a couple of pork chops right here. One of the issues with going keto is we want to keep the cost down. As you know, or as you may know, a ketogenic nutrition strategy is moderate in protein, higher in fat, and very low in carbohydrates. I'm getting all of my carbohydrates from vegetables that grow above the ground. So today, my carbohydrates are going to come from romaine lettuce and a little bit of squash coming from my garden. So I've made this very simple salad, just romaine lettuce, and then I've just simply shredded with my peeler a little bit of yellow squash over the top to give it some color, little olive oil, a little bit of balsamic vinegar. Balsamic vinegar does have sugar in it, so be careful if that triggers sugar cravings for you. But generally, if I'm having the whole day 30 grams of carbohydrates, I can have a little bit of balsamic vinegar with no problem and with no increase to my appetite. Bacon grease in the pan. So that's going to be my fat source for cooking. You could use butter, but I'm using either bacon grease or butter because they do tend to stand up to heat well. So the recipe for your breading, it's very easy. You don't have to need 1/3 cup of Parmesan cheese, and then just a bit, probably a 1/4 teaspoon of ground cumin. When I cook, I just simply shake it in there and, until I color it up, doing it kind of freehand, but you could do a 1/4 teaspoon. You've got garlic powder. You could do a 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder. And then some ground black pepper to taste. And then just a dash of red pepper. So a little bit spicy. I'm going to go ahead and take the bowl over here and do the breading. And we're starting to heat up. The oil's starting to get heated up in the pan. So I'm going to go ahead and take this and move it up a little bit higher. There we go. All right, now you can see a little bit better. I'm going to get the salad out of the way. Many other seasonings. I love my seasonings for my cooking. All right, but we don't have to go overboard. Some of this morning's bacon left over. Let's get that out of the way. Okay, we got the pork chops. We got the pork chops right here. So I'm going to finish the breading and get them in the pan, and then of course I'm going to go and wash my hands. All right, so really, really easy to do. I've got a second dish right here to set them on when I'm done. And so I'm just going to set that in there, mix it around, sprinkle it, gently pat it on. Gently pat it off the excess. Now to make sure we've got it well coated. Oh, these are looking good. And the third one, shake this around, mix it up. So I did block the pork chops with paper towel before I breaded them. We want to get a nice browning on them, so I got them a little bit dry. And even though I dried them off, the breading is sticking to them really easily. Very, very easy to get this breading to stick. And shake off the excess, and there it is. There's what they look like when they're breaded. In they go. Just for the sake of demonstrating good safety, I'm going to use tongs. Put them in, nice and easy. Hear that sound? Oil was in the right temperature. And one right here. And plenty of room for the last one right here. I'm going to cook them 6 minutes on each side. You could cook them a little bit longer if you don't want any pinkness to be left. I will be honest, I like just like that tiny, tiny. And I'm going to give her a treat. Or coming out of the kitchen. Good girl. I'll be setting the timer now for 5 minutes. Which will come out to about 6 minutes each side. Then I'll be flipping it over and another 5 minutes. Actually, I'm sorry, another 6 minutes. So there you have it. We've just got that simple pork chop. We've got my very, very simple romaine lettuce salad. Your pork chops are not going to be as expensive as beef. Very often, they're not even as expensive as chicken, and they can be very, very tasty and very, very simple. So we're working on a 6-week challenge right now where we're getting off of sugar and grains, and we are doing intense resistance training using myo reps and breathing reps. I combine them and I call them best reps. So by combining these wonderful methods of intense resistance training and simple ketogenic cooking, what we're looking for is to really release some fat, get leaner, get tighter, and be looking our absolute best and feeling our best for the coming holiday season. I'm coming to you from here, California, in the United States, and it is the 10th of October. So this challenge is lasting until the 21st of November, which is 2 days before American Thanksgiving. Now, it doesn't mean I'm going to go crazy on American Thanksgiving. No, I'm going to make my lovely keto pumpkin desserts and probably have some nuts and maybe some organic dark chocolate that's sweetened with stevia instead of sugar. And, you know, there are some lovely fruits that I can have. I like Granny Smith apples. If I am careful, there are certain carbohydrates that work really, really well for me, and I enjoy them, and so I get to eat them. Why do I eat this way? I have found that by following a simple ketogenic strategy, my appetite is just under control. I have a really easily managed appetite when I eat keto style. But as more sugars and as grains creep back in, I find that my appetite resurges and once again becomes out of control. And I simply don't have time for that. My son has turned 16 and he's driving now, and I have a lot more time to do the things that I really love to do. And I'm passionate about the theater, singing, dancing, writing, comedy, directing. And so now I have all this time, or more time, to do the things that I love. And so I'm going to eat simple, nutritious meals that satisfy my appetite rather than trying to chase pleasure like I did for so long in terms of what I was eating. Now I would rather chase happiness and fulfillment from what I'm doing and creating rather than from what I'm consuming. So I'm going to go ahead and turn over these pork chops in just a few minutes, and I'm going to be leaving you at that. So once again, 1/3 of a cup of Parmesan cheese and about a ½ teaspoon of garlic powder, a sprinkle of red pepper, about a 1/4 teaspoon of cumin or enough to flavor it up, and some black pepper. Like I said, just cooking that in the bacon drippings from the rest of the week, about 6 minutes on each side, low medium heat, and we're going to end up with a delicious pork chop. And I've got one for me to eat, and then the chops are ready for when my son and my husband come home and they want to eat this evening. I can also make a salad for them or make a vegetable for them. They are not following a ketogenic strategy, so it's very easy for me to add some potatoes or some rice or some on the side because they don't have to eat keto.